everyone, and welcome back to Spirituality with Gabriella. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you joining me. We are doing a reading on what makes you unique and what makes you special. So, I had an interesting thought today, which is that sometimes the reading that we want to get is not necessarily the reading that we need to get. And what I mean by that is I think most of us want readings about our love life, or we want to know exactly what job we're going to get, or that kind of thing. But it's also been a really interesting time, and I've been noticing that some people are feeling more down lately or kind of struggling with this time. And so I decided to do a reading which is going to help boost all of our confidence and spread more love and light, because you know I'm all about that. So today we're looking at what makes you special, what makes you unique. And this can be both in terms of talents and in terms of physical attributes. Some other readers like to say what makes you attractive. And so that's what we're going to dive into. One thing I have to say before is if you find that this reading resonates with you, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it if you would like to. Please hit that subscribe button. It definitely helps the channel grow. It helps us spread more love and light to everyone. And without further ado, let's get into the piles. So I'm going to show you the crystals up front. The first one we have here is the Amethyst. And this is for pile 1. Here we have the Pyrite. That's for pile 2. And then over here we have the Lapis Lazuli. And that is for pile 3. So take a second, turn your thoughts and your intuition inwards, and then once you find the pile that speaks to you, you can fast forward and use the timestamps below to get your own personal reading. And I will see you there. Thank you so much. All right, pile 1, welcome to your reading. I have your cards here. I'm going to share any messages I get about what makes you unique and special. So we have the Two of Wands here, followed by the Queen of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and then here we have the Nine of Pentacles. So the first thing that you can already see is you guys have a lot of pentacles, which is actually a good thing. This is also signifying that you are a fairly grounded person. When I tune into your energy, I'm seeing someone who is very excited by possibilities and especially by traveling, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. But I'm also seeing that you're a grounded person. So I am getting a creative vibe, but it's kind of like you're creative, but you're calm. I feel like you're not super out there. You're not necessarily the biggest personality. Feels like you're perhaps a little bit on the quieter side, and you feel calm to me. You feel like you have a very harmonious vibe about you, and this is actually something that makes you very special. So let's go through these one by one. The first card, as I said, is the Two of Wands. And for some reason, I'm getting very pulled to traveling. I feel like a lot of you have traveled a lot of places over the course of your life. And I'm not just talking about 1 or 2 places, I'm talking about 15 plus places. For some of you, it is actually as high as 40 plus. I feel like you've been to a lot of countries, or you have a very strong draw to a lot of different cultures. I'm seeing Japan as a big one. That is probably a message for some of you. For others of you, Japan might just be a culture that fascinates you, somewhere that you want to learn more about. Some of you might even live there. Yeah, actually that area of the world is somehow significant for you. I think that a few of you have had past lives there, and there's something about the fact that in the Japanese culture you are more polite and more reserved and more calm that actually translates into who you are in this life. So whether you are Japanese or not, I feel like you still have a very calm vibe about you, which is good. I'm getting a lot of stuff about music and a lot of stuff about creativity here. I'm seeing artists. I feel like most of you make your own music, as in you actually make the songs, like as in you play instruments and stuff. But I think some of you are actually singers as well, lyricists. There's something here that's very poetic. And so being drawn to music, I think, makes a lot of sense for your group. And even for those of you who are not musicians, I feel like music really speaks to you. Like, it's the kind of thing where someone can play you a song, and if that song really, really moves you, then it could make you cry, or it could make you see the world differently, or it could change a bad day into a much better day, that kind of thing. And it doesn't work that way for everyone. So I feel that you are very tuned into creativity in this way, even if you're not naturally creating every single day yourself. Nature is a big theme here. We have this butterfly, we have this butterfly. I'm definitely getting that you feel most at peace when you're out in nature. I think a lot of you like hiking, a lot of you like just kind of being out there. And I also get that a lot of you were very imaginative children. And one thing that I want to say, which I feel is important to communicate, is it feels that some of you have let that imagination go astray a little bit the older that you've gotten. And it's very important to hold on to it because your imagination is what's going to make you succeed. It's what's going to make you outperform. And this is what actually makes you special. For some reason, I'm seeing J.K. Rowling, and I believe this is a symbol for someone who's taken their imagination and literally become a billionaire over what was once an idea. So, you know, J.K. Rowling sat on this idea for however many years. I think it was like 5 years before she actually wrote Harry Potter. She just thought about it and she created this world in her head. And then by showcasing that and sharing that with the world, she was able to become very successful. And so I think that on your journey, one thing that you need to focus on is being very resilient, not giving up, having the perseverance to keep going, and really using that imagination as much as possible. This is something that not a lot of people have imagination that's to your level, and I feel like you can use that imagination and that creativity to not only make money, but also to feel more full in life, feel more happy, and have higher well-being. You're also very patient, I think. When I tap into your energy, I am getting a few different types of personalities, but what I would say is all of these personalities are patient, they're kind, they're well-meaning. Some of them have a little bit more confidence than others, but I feel like the undercurrent here is that you are a very patient person, you're a very kind person. There's just something about your presence that people, they really like to be around you. They like to be around you because you are calming, because you are creative. You always come up with ideas. You are a huge learner. You're the type of person who wants to learn as much as possible. You just have a genuine desire and curiosity to learn about different people, different people's experiences, their emotions. You want to have as much knowledge as possible. And I think a lot of you are drawn to read fiction as a way to empathize with other people and as a way to kind of get lost in this creative world which you have made for yourself. And I highly encourage that. I feel like some of you have not been reading as much recently, and it's important to get back to it. It's important to find those books where you can just kind of lose yourself and just totally be in flow. So this is something I would advise for you. Another thing that makes you special is that many of you are on a spiritual path, and what I'm seeing is that for a number of you, this only started kind of recently. So I feel like you are a spiritual person at heart, and I honestly believe anyone who is an artist, anyone who's creative, anyone who has that imagination is spiritual. That's coming from a spiritual channel out there. It's coming from energy that the universe gives us, and by taking hold of it and by capturing that, we are able to be creative. And so I think that you have always been a spiritual person, but I think in terms of spirituality, how we often talk about it today with tarot, pick a card stuff, meditation, yoga, Reiki, all of that stuff, I think you're really getting into that more now. And for some of you, I think this has only been in the last year to year and a half. And I think YouTube has been a huge channel for many of you to actually discover this and find this. So I would definitely encourage to keep going with it. One thing to remember, and it's going to be so funny to hear this from me as a tarot reader, but what I want to say to this group in particular is remember that stuff like pick a cards are not meant to tell you everything about what's going to happen. They're not going to tell you every single thing about the future. Rather, they're kind of like a mirror and they're like a guide. And we look to things like pick a card readings to be able to affirm that we're on the right path and to help us get to the path that is aligned with our highest self. And so today I feel called to tell you that because I think some of you might have a tendency to not necessarily obsess, but just watch so many videos and just keep in mind every message you get it for a reason, but don't bombard yourself with these messages. It's not really meant to be used like that. You know, watch what you feel called to, find the messages that you feel called to, but don't drive yourself crazy by trying to decode every single thing. And the other thing I want to say is there are a couple of you here who are calm, but are a little bit type A, just in terms of personality. Like you might be a bit of a perfectionist, or you might be too hard on yourself sometimes. And for those of you out there who resonate with that, just remember that not everything can be explained by logic and details. And, you know, it's good in those times to draw it more into your creative space than into your logical mind. That's just something to remember as you go through this journey. And a lot of things energetically are more things that you feel. And so tune into all of the different ways that you can get this energy. You know, you have clairsentience, clairvoyance, all of that different stuff. Tune into those because all of those are important to you. I'm getting that you are a very giving person. So we have the Six of Pentacles here. You know, this is an interesting card because I know in the Bible it's like Jesus gives fish to all of the people, fish and bread, and then here we have these ravens eating the fish. So I think you are naturally a giving person. For some reason, I am also feeling that some of you are stretched thin though. Like you don't exactly know when to stop giving your time to other people. And so I think this is just a reminder to stay clear to your boundaries, make sure that you have boundaries, make sure that you're taking time to rejuvenate yourself and to go into this creativity. I'm feeling really pulled to tell you all to do stuff like journaling, write short stories. You don't necessarily have to make a masterpiece, but what I would like you to do is to spend time with yourself, reflecting, even if it's 30 minutes or less. It can be like 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes every morning. I feel like this is really going to benefit you during this time. So in terms of your energy, there is a transition coming. I don't think it's coming yet. I feel it's more at the end of February, early March. I think for a lot of you, this is actually in your career. You might be changing jobs. You might be entering a new team, a new workplace. It feels positive. It feels like the energy is going to stir up and things are going to change at that time. And I feel that some of you have wanted a change for a long time, and I just want you to know it's there. So don't fret for any longer. Know that it's there. You know, keep doing your manifestations, but so far so good, which is wonderful. Okay, so here we have the Nine of Pentacles. Some of you are also painters, and for some reason I'm getting Van Gogh. I have no idea why. Van Gogh and Gustav Klimt. You might even have a picture of their artwork in your place, in your apartment, your room, something like that. I feel that, yeah, there's something with this gold here. I'm getting very pulled to those two artists. So you might resonate with that. They might be your favorite artists. Just, you know, take it if it resonates. If it doesn't, that's fine. What I want to say is you have a good presence. It's like your presence is very marketable. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but it feels like you come across as being calm, being collected, being professional. You can definitely build your own personal brand. And whether you do this through your art, your music, your creativity, or whether you do this through more of a career where you're helping others and nurturing other people, which I think both kind of apply, it's going to be very successful. And you're the type of person where people think that you're smart, even if you don't really know that much about a subject matter or a topic, people listen to you and they're just like, oh yeah, that person's smart. Like that person just gets it. And so I feel like you should use this to your advantage, especially in your career, especially with how you market yourself. I can see many of you in the future having your own blog, having your own practice. Some of you might be in the coaching space, some of you might be nurses. I'm seeing the caretaking is definitely a big part of who you are and what you identify with. And that definitely makes you stand out because the way that you care for others is it's beautiful. It comes straight from the heart. And so this is something that really makes you unique, honestly. There's also something about you which is very futuristic. I feel like you have been focused mainly on benefiting one by one, or people individually one by one. But I feel like you will move more towards benefiting groups of people. And this will happen kind of as you rise more in your leadership journey. So I feel that there's something innovative for some of you. You might decide to do like group work, like group coaching, group energy healing. So I feel like many of you are going to be pulled to doing group work. That could be group coaching, group energy healing. If you're a nurse, working with groups of people, there's something very therapeutic about you where you're helping people learn more about themselves and become happier with who they are. This is something that really benefits you. All right, so I'm going to close off this reading and just pull a couple cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirits guidebook and deck. And this is about what makes you special and also anything that you need to know. All right, so I'm definitely getting a lot of you are really busy right now. When we see the octopus, this is someone who is very stretched thin, very pulled between tasks. This is also a helper though, someone who is naturally therapeutic, someone who naturally has talents that you would associate with a counselor or a good listener, someone who is very creative. So you actually are really good at having so much to juggle. But once again, remember to carve out that time for self-care like we were talking about before, because being really, really busy is going to drain you, so be careful of that. Here we have the Phoenix, and I actually love this card. I feel like this relates a lot to what I was talking about before, where you're helping other people rise and become their best selves. I also feel that this is a dual message though, because I think you're going through your own spiritual transformation. And because you're getting so into spirituality and also into this career shift, which I see happening for you, I think this is very, very positive. And I think this is just a really good affirmation that you are on the right path. And the other thing to keep in mind is that during this time, there are going to be some things and some people that you're going to have to leave behind. There are going to be friends that you have from childhood who you talk to and you just don't really connect with them anymore, or you feel like you guys are on different wavelengths, and that is perfectly okay. Also, some of these friends are not even from childhood. They're friends that you kind of had in your circle the last 2 to 3 years, but I think some of them are going away, and the universe is sending you more people who are more aligned with your energy, and it's trying to keep you in the light. So make sure that you're very tuned into who you're spending your time with, because I think you are an empath, and I think that it's very important for you to be balanced and to stay in the light. Make sure you're not doing too much that's going to drag you, drain you down, and stuff like that. These work perfectly together because whenever I see the moth is the creature that travels towards light, right? So you are going through a transformation, you are going through a transition, and I feel that this transition, once you finish it, you're going to be a lot more confident at the end of it. So you're going to be growing into your higher self, and what I'm getting is that your team of angels and spirit guides might even be getting an upgrade at this time. So you might get angels and spirit guides who have kind of wiser understanding and knowledge of spirituality, and they might kind of come in and help the spirit guides you have been working with. This happens sometimes, and sometimes They even step in and another one will leave. So this is really interesting, and I'm getting that if you would like to, you can be a spiritual teacher. I know it sounds really weird, but some of you will have aspirations to do stuff kind of like what the Dalai Lama does, where they go out and they teach about spirituality, they teach about self-healing, they teach about creativity. I'm also getting art therapy for some of you. There is a huge intersection here with creativity, art, music, nature, giving. All of those themes are big, big, big themes for your group. So I hope that this gave you confidence and reminded you why you are special, why you were brought to this earth, that you are following your unique path, and that you are on the path of light, which is exactly right for you. And if you enjoyed this reading, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, pile 2, welcome to your reading. So these are the cards that I've just picked for you, and I'm going to go through them one by one. And I'm already getting some messages, so I'm going to talk about them. So here we have the Three of Wands, the King of Pentacles, the Star, and the King of Wands. So we're seeing wands here coming in as a theme. And, you know, these are big cards with the Major Arcana and the Star. This is beautiful. So before I get into the cards, the first thing that I saw for your group was a ship. I think a lot of you are connected to the ocean. A lot of you are water signs. I'm getting Cancer. I mean, all of them, of course, but Cancer predominantly, Pisces, Scorpio, big, big, big water signs in this group. And I think a number of you actually have water placements not only in your sun, but also in other areas of your chart. So like your moon, your rising, all of that. So if that resonates, then this message is definitely going to be for you. The second thing that I instantly got was this group is full of very attractive people. I'm talking about people who visually are very beautiful. I'm getting wavy, curlyish hair. A lot of you have darker hair, not all of you though. Model-esque kind of people. The types of people who become actresses, the types of people who visually are very pleasing. And I know it sounds funny, but this is something that throughout your life you will use to your advantage. It will come in advantage for your career. It will come in advantage for your relationships. It will most definitely come in advantage when you are looking for a partner and when you want to get married. And I'm kind of getting a lot of like doe-eyed things too, meaning that you would have big open eyes, very soulful eyes. I'm also getting fairly full lips and, like I said, kind of curly or wavy hair. And when I say curly, I'm actually not talking about like ring tight curls. It's more like soft waves and curls. So that's just what I get straight off the bat. Of course, if this doesn't represent you to a T, don't worry, it's okay. It's a general reading, and this is me channeling into certain people who are watching this video, not everyone. But regardless, I think what you can take away from this is you are a very beautiful person. All right, so let's get into this first card here, which is the Three of Wands. All right, so a little bit of a random message that I'm getting right here is I think some of you are a bit concerned about something. I think it's something to do with a male figure. This is either a guy you were texting or talking to, or it's your father. And it's interesting because this is taking two forms. On the one hand, there's a little bit of anxiety here about like, why isn't he texting me back? And on the other hand, I think some of you have relatives who are not fully well. They're not fully healthy at this time. The message here is just stay strong. You know, it's kind of like the stormy seas. This is going to be something in life that happens where it is really nerve-wracking and it feels like the tide can come in and pull you under, and it's really scary because you honestly don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I'm getting stay strong. You have to be like the star here who is bright, even though the night around you is very dark. For some of you, this is an interesting time because your family is relying on you for support. They would not say it that way, they wouldn't be that explicit, but there is an undercurrent of you have an expectation to be the one to help your family get through this and help your family get through this time. So for those of you who resonate with this, I just want you to know that you're doing the right thing, you are bringing the right energy, stay confident, stay resilient, don't give up. I feel like the sea feels very stormy right now, and I'm talking metaphorically, but you can see in this card, that's kind of how it is. But I feel like you're managing it well, so that's great. So let's take a step back from those of you who don't necessarily resonate with that message. I would describe you as a critical thinker. I would describe you as someone who has vision. I feel like you have the ability to stay on track when other people get very pulled into all of the details. It's kind of like, even at work, on your team, for example, there might be a lot of chaos and people tend to get easily flustered, but you're just like, okay, we need to do this and we need to stay on track. And it's not necessarily that you tell everyone like what they need to do. It's more just that you have a very strong focus and you're able to focus on the future. You're able to focus on the tasks that need to be done. And so what I'm getting is that you are highly productive people. You're the type of people where if I compare you to another person and gave them both checklists, your checklist would be all filled out by the end of the day, everything would be done. With this, I'm getting is a lot of pressure. It is a self-imposed pressure. It's the type of pressure where you are the one telling yourself, I wasn't productive today, or I didn't get enough done. A little bit of the type A stuff going on here. But I just want you to know that your productivity and your ability to focus is really going to stand you in good stead. Just make sure that you don't put too much burden on yourself, because it can be easy to burden yourself. That's what I'm getting. And sometimes you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, even though you don't have to. That's not up to you. And so if you feel like you're carrying stuff right now, kind of just take a moment right now to just let that go. You are successful. You already are a very confident person. You come across very well. Like I said, you are very attractive, both internally and externally. I'm getting that you have a good heart. I'm getting that you like to keep people on track. You like to look towards the future. You like to be strategic. You have a vision. You have a vision for yourself. You also have a vision for your company, how your relationship should be. Everything in your mind is kind of like planned out. So without putting too much pressure on yourself, think about how you can use that vision to be more productive, to get the most out of life. And you can maximize all of your resources because you have this vision. What I want to say is life isn't really about all of the stuff that you have. I feel like this group is very resourceful. Like if you were in a position where you just didn't have as much stuff or you didn't have as much money, you would be the people to maximize that money and to figure out, how can I work with what I have? And so this makes you a very good builder, a very good entrepreneur, the type of person who can wiggle their way out of very difficult situations. And so it's your perseverance, your resilience, the fact that other people know they can rely on you and they know that they can trust you, that really sets you apart here. So we also have the King of Pentacles. I'm getting a lot of leadership vibes here. When we see the King of Pentacles, this is a leader. This is someone that other people look up to. You can even see, I don't really know what this is meant to be, but there's these like cool colored things, which this raven is wearing, and it's kind of calling out, and you can imagine the raven's call, it goes all throughout the environment. Animals from near and far will hear the raven's call. And so I'm getting that you are a born leader. What I want to say is you come across as very confident. You hold yourself with poise. This is why I was getting stuff about models and actors and actresses and stuff like that. Even public speaking, you seem externally extremely confident in yourself. And the funny thing is, I think internally sometimes you're not as confident as you appear externally. But because you come across so well, I would use this to market yourself. I would use this towards your career. And the good thing about you is, although you do come across in this confident way, it's not so confident that it's off-putting. I feel like people just really like the level of confidence that you bring, and they like the fact that you are so focused. So this is a very strong thing about you. Some of you in here are also in the fashion industry. I'm seeing dresses, gowns, stuff like that. If that calls to you, you are on the right path. You are definitely doing what you're meant to do. I'm also getting a lot of stuff about acting, modeling, photo shoots, film industry, that kind of thing. I feel creativity is a big thing here, but I don't know how to describe this in the best way. It's not like the type of creativity where you sit down and you write something for yourself. It's the type of creativity where you want to share it externally and you want to share it on a broad scale. So that's why I'm getting pulled to professions like acting, modeling, film, where hundreds of people are going to see you, whether that be in a magazine or whether that be they see your movie. And so I feel like you have a gift, and your gift is to share it with a wide amount of people. It's very important that you touch many people. It's very important that either you stand on the stage, so to speak, or whatever you create is the stage. So, whether you're an actress standing on the stage or whether you're making a movie, which becomes the stage, this is the type of stuff that resonates with you and resonates with your vibration. And I also think some of you are already doing like YouTube, and I'm definitely getting film. There's something about film here for many of you, which I think will resonate, but make sure that you continue with that. The more you can do it, the better. Again, I feel very much that I need to tell you not to put too much pressure on yourself. Some of you are working in very tight deadlines or working in environments where it feels not necessarily cutthroat, but just a little bit too intense. And I just feel like the spirituality, the meditation, the calm, it's really going to be important. In terms of your career and your relationship, I get a lot of positive stuff. I feel like this group is destined to find a life partner. I feel like this group is destined to find the person who will be the perfect partner for them in their career. And some of you might even be in the government or political space, because whatever it is that you're doing, it's kind of like fame. I always use this term soft fame, but it really is kind of like that. And I feel that this isn't something that you do forever by yourself. I think a lot of you don't know your spouse yet. However, it will change, and the person that is going to be alongside you is someone who has the same goals as you, someone who is comfortable kind of being in the public eye. And it's not necessarily that you're walking down the red carpet, but this person is comfortable enough to share their talents and their skills with more than a select handful of people. They're comfortable enough to post something on Instagram and have a lot of followers, for example. And there's something here about magazines and being interviewed. I'm getting Vogue. And so if you've been asked to do an interview, if you are asked to do an interview, or whether this is you or your partner, definitely do that, because that's going to be like a breakthrough opportunity for you. Okay, we have the star here. So again, I don't know why I'm getting pulled to water. I feel like water is very healing for you. It's very relaxing, especially in the summertime. I feel obliged to tell you it's a very good time to be swimming. It's a very good time to kind of immerse yourself in water. I know this is really specific, but some of you either were born in water or want to have your baby in water, which is really interesting. So if that calls to you, then thumbs up, that's great. Definitely affirming here. And then it's not really that you are doing water sports, but for some reason I feel pulled to tell you that stuff like canoeing and being in water is just going to be really, really good. So don't forget that. It's very healing for you. Some of you might decide to invest in a fountain or some kind of running water that is going to be nearby your workspace, because it's going to calm you down and it's going to help you. I really think this pile is going to make a lot of money. I think that you are going to have a lot of fortune. What's special about you is you are able to stand up and be very confident. Even if internally you are struggling, nobody is ever going to know that. All of these cards, like you can see here, I mean, it is the deck with ravens, but the wings are spread open in these two cards, and the message is of confidence, it's of performance. It's like the type of energy you get when you watch an aspiring actor or actress, and then you kind of watch them actually end up becoming famous. So I know that you guys are going to be very successful, and I feel like your career has to be your main focus for the next 1 to 3 years. However, during this time, I think you will also meet your future spouse. I really think so. And I think that career is something that's going to bond you two together. I'm getting that both of you are very creative or are in some way tied to fame or pleasing the public, you know, whether that's through your art or some other way. There's also something very random about Twitter. I don't know what. I feel that interviewing, blogging, articles, I was also getting that for the first group. So maybe you might decide to watch that too, because I think there's some overlapping messages here. But I think your partner tweets a lot. I don't know why. Just maybe you'll even meet them that way. So if you don't have Twitter, sign up for it. I think it's great for you. Okay, King of Wands here. I mean, a lot of king cards, a lot of very strong energy. You are a leader, you are a visionary. You are the type of person who's going to build something or be something that will change other people's perspective. I think a lot of you are living in a city like a Manhattan or like a Delhi, some city that has like that has a lot of streets. The city is actually where you're meant to be, which is interesting. Even if you feel that water is very healing for you, I think it's great if you can live somewhere where you get both, like the water and the city. But for this point in your career, despite COVID, it kind of feels like you are meant to be in the city, and it feels like being in the city is what's going to give you life. It's okay if you're not there right now because of COVID, but once COVID has kind of blown over, which knock on wood, it will be sooner rather than later, I would advise you to go back to the city. And I think that New York is huge for many of you. Many of you probably aspire to go there, so definitely keep that in mind. Also, Chicago, London, Delhi, big cities. This is kind of where you belong. It's kind of like the lion is the king of the jungle, and you are meant to be in the big cities, the cities where there's theater, where there's performing stuff, where you can make a name for yourself. I feel like this group, you're going to make a name for yourself, so be confident in that. Know that you're going to get famous, basically. Honestly, whether you want to or not, it's kind of going to happen anyways. Just asking for any more messages. All right, so before I go into these over here, hyena is usually about someone who has a very good wit and a very good sense of humor. I'm also getting comedian. Some of you might like to make jokes, make people laugh, be the class clown, so to speak. Use these skills to your advantage. You have a way with people. It's not like you're a smooth talker, but you are able to kind of break up the tension in a room. And even if you're doing something more formal, like a job interview, I feel like people love your confidence. They like your ability to just kind of shift the energy and crack a joke. And so this is something really good about you. The only thing to keep in mind here is because you are sometimes lighthearted, there are a couple things that you might not pay attention to naturally, like your spirituality, like your goals. Like, I think you're very focused on getting stuff done, but try and bring a little bit more energy of like healing and calmness into your life as well. So it's not always just like go, 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 and have this like confident, joke cracking personality as well. So just remember that. But the good thing about the hyena is you can see the moon here. There's the dark side to the moon and the bright side to the moon. Both of these are accessible to you. I feel it can be easy for you to withdraw at times and to feel sad internally, to kind of come away from the family, come away from the pack, like hyenas travel in packs. When you start to feel yourself withdrawing into that energy, just remember that you have a unique gift to share with the world, and the most important thing is to connect to your purpose. It can become very easy for people like you to connect more to what needs to be done as opposed to why you're doing it and your life purpose. But when you connect to your purpose and you get really grounded in that, you're going to feel so much more fulfilled. So keep this in mind. I love that I got this message about family because seeing the wolf here is a huge assurance and affirmation of exactly what I was saying before. So the wolf is the guardian of the pack, the wolf is the leader, so you have a lot of leadership energy. One thing to keep in mind when you see the wolf card is it's okay if not everyone follows the same path or goes the way that we want them to. It might be hard and it might feel like at times you have people around you who are not following the path you would want for them. And for some reason, I think for many of you, this is your siblings. But it's okay. Know that they need to learn their own lessons and know that it's okay to let go of that sometimes. The wolf is still a very positive sign that you have that leadership ability and people naturally trust and rely on you. Lastly, here we have the owl, and I'll definitely leave the reading on this note because the owl is one of my favorite cards. Basically, the owl means that a treasure or a boon is on the way, something significant, something special. For a lot of you, this is something like a callback, this is an agent writing to you, this is inspiration, but in a very tangible form. And I think that a lot of you have actually been trying to manifest this. So know that this is coming for you, and it is coming, I think, fairly soon. I would say within the next 8 weeks. Look out for it. Know that this is a sign, and when you get it, I think you are going to be really happy, really humbled, and just feeling very invigorated. So if you're feeling a little low on energy or a little bit tapped out, know that that's going to change sometime soon. All right, so these are all the messages that I got for you today, and if you like this reading, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share it if you feel so inclined so that we can spread more love and light. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. All right, see you soon. Bye. All right, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So these are the cards that I picked for you, and before I go into them, I'm just going to share any intuitive messages that I got, and if they resonate with you, then this is definitely the pile for you. The first thing I got is, weirdly, I think that a lot of you are tall. You have a presence and you have a good stature, and that's something that sets you apart, and that's something that makes you unique. You are the kind of person who is difficult not to notice. And I'm just getting that when you walk down the street, people kind of notice you. So that's good. Then the other thing I'm getting, which I found very curious, is I think some of you are very good with your hands. And it almost makes me wonder if a couple of you were recently changing out the light bulbs or working in the garden, assembling furniture, that kind of stuff. It feels like you're very practical people, and at times can be very logical too, because we have this King of Swords thing here. But I just feel like you're tactile, you're good with your hands, and interestingly, kind of having that like physical presence, that's an important way for you to learn. Like even when you were a young kid, I think that you were the type of kid who liked to play with blocks and try things out, and you kind of learn by doing. You don't necessarily learn as well if you just sit in front of a lecture hall or something like that. So these are the initial random messages I got for you, and now we will go into the cards. So we have the Three of Cups here, we have the Nine of Wands here, the Ace of Wands, and the King of Swords. 2 wand cards, so idea-driven people, that's definitely going to come through here. But let's start over here with the Three of Cups. You're very good at taking abstract ideas and making them into something that other people can believe in. So for example, maybe you are an entrepreneur and you have a startup. I'm just using this as an example. You're the type of person who can make a prototype into a real product. This is something that is very good about you. You're very practical, you're very reliable. It's kind of like you have a path and you decide to go down that path because you know it's right for you. There's something about being outdoors here, being in the garden, planting. I don't know if you are drawn to plants, drawn to nature. Some of you might live close to a vineyard or really enjoy vineyards, or grow your own plants, your own food. I feel like this is significant for your group, and what I'm getting is you're very self-sufficient. You're a self-reliant type of person, and I know it's going to sound kind of odd, but you're the type of person who's like, oh, I'm going to go and live off of the grid, and I'm going to have my own farm, and I'm going to have my own water source and build my own house and stuff like that, and I don't need to rely on the government. I don't need to rely on a wide network of friends and family. Like, you have friends and family who are very important to you, but you don't need to rely on anyone other than yourself. At least this is what I get. So for those of you where this resonates, I think your confidence shows and it comes off, and people automatically respect this about you. They respect the fact that you can take an idea and turn that into a reality. And they also respect the fact that you kind of have this I don't care attitude. And it's not that you don't care, it's really just that you don't need to prescribe to society's standards. You don't need to follow everything that everyone does. You kind of chart your own path, which is what I like about you. I find it very curious because for some reason recently my group threes have been very independent, very, yeah, people who just kind of go by the beat of their own drum. And I love that, but it's just funny that it keeps coming up with group three. I think that for some of you, your family's expectations of what you should be doing are different than what you actually want to do. I'm getting that what might be expected for some of you is being like a doctor or a lawyer or a profession that is respected across the world, and you might want to do something a little bit different. I don't know why, but I'm getting an image of my childhood friend who really wanted to be a hairdresser, but her mom like really didn't want her to do that and wanted her to go to an Ivy League school and be like a doctor or a lawyer. And so I think that this might resonate with some of you. And what I want to say is trust your gut on this, because I feel like if you end up going towards a career where you already are not a huge fan of it, you're just not going to be happy. And I think for many of you, your parents are kind of pressuring you into this because they think that they're going to save you, and they think that you just don't know yet because you're too young or you're too naive or whatnot. But trust your gut, because I think your gut is right, and I think you're meant to do something pretty innovative and pretty different. I'm also getting that some of you are creative, and obviously you're creative, right? If you're turning ideas into reality, but I'm getting creative in like a very different scale. It's not necessarily like the type of creative where you go out and you create like a beautiful piece of art and it exists there and it kind of stays still there. It's more creative in the sense where you're looking to like really build or change something. So a lot of you are probably working with technology, and I also think a lot of you are really pushing against society standards. I don't know why. I'm getting a lot of stuff about UFOs and a lot of stuff about kind of like otherworldly things, or things that some people might consider to be conspiracy theories or might think are not real or whatnot. You have a lot of knowledge in different areas which you can use to apply and to help humanity awaken. So keep that in mind. And you might even work in a business that is not 100% normalized yet, like for example the cannabis industry or something like that. You might be drawn to work in this space, and I see you being really successful at it. And actually that makes sense because I see so much around like vineyards and being outside and stuff like this. So if you decide to go down that path, I think this is also a path that works for you. Of course that doesn't apply to all of you, but for those of you who it does apply, I think it's very strong. In terms of astrological signs, I definitely pick up on a lot of Aquarius energy. I also think a lot of Earth energy. So if you have any like Capricorn, not Sagittarius, if you have any Capricorn, or yeah, Virgo or Taurus in your chart, I think that could be a thing. And I mentioned Sagittarius. I am also getting some kind of, it feels like a bold energy, kind of like an Aries or a Sagittarius, where it's more like bold and a little bit more hard-headed. I think you might have some of that as well. Okay, so with the Nine of Wands here, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I feel like for some of you, your life has felt like a tale where people are always trying to constrain you and constrict you and keep you on a path, and you just don't really want to be on that path. I think I'm making it sound more dramatic than how you actually feel, but I definitely get the sense that you're meant to do something new, you're meant to do something different, and you're doing something futuristic. Randomly, I'm also getting that a lot of your friends, family members are getting married around this period of time. I feel like there's a lot of engagements happening around you. As a friend, you are very supportive. You are also logical. You're the type of person who will tell your friend, you know, I hate to tell you, but that guy doesn't actually like you. Or, I hate to tell you, but if you haven't heard back from him, it's probably for a reason. Like, I feel like you don't really sugarcoat stuff that much. You are sensitive, you are compassionate, but you are also honest. And I think people like this about you, and this is what makes you ultimately a good leader. This is radical candor and radical honesty, and you use this, and I think people actually respect this about you. So this is good. Here we have the Ace of Wands. So you do have a softer side. There is a part to you, I'm getting the sense that you're more of a lone wolf. I'm not even going to call you an introvert because I feel that you're very confident even when there's a ton of people around, but I feel that you get your energy from being alone, and you've never been the type of person to want to have friends for the sake of having friends. You're the type of person who wants a few people near you, and you want those people to be like ride or die kind of people. Um, but you don't need to like travel in a pack. You don't need to be popular. I feel like naturally people are drawn to you just because you are so different. You're so bold and so creative and innovative in ways that other people aren't. And you're a very interesting thinker. And so I definitely think that you're revolutionary in many ways. And what I'm getting is the vision that you have and the stuff that you're working on is stuff that other people just don't even understand yet. Like, you know that what you're doing is going to be successful, but other people, like maybe your parents or even friends, they don't really see the extent of it yet. But my advice to you is to keep going against the grain, because I think that you're charting the path that you're meant to, and this is something you came into this world having a soul contract around. And the fact that you're doing it and the fact that you are being different is exactly what you're meant to do and is going to change your life, your family's life, and also humanity for the better. And the other funny thing is you are going to make a lot of money doing what you do. It might be a longer game where it might take some time to ramp up, but once the idea is there, I think you're going to get a lot of attention. I feel like there's news releases, there's press that is kind of gravitating towards you, but I would say probably in 2 years, not right now. And the funny thing is that once you get to that level, your family is then going to come back and want to be closer to you and want to associate with you more. So this is the energy I get. An interesting thing about you is, you know that I don't know what to call it, but there's the tale of King Midas who touches stuff and it turns to gold. You're kind of like that. Like, you can take an idea or an innovation and turn it into reality, turn it into a product, turn it into something that people feel that they need. And what you're really good at is helping people buy into things and feel like they really need something before they even know that they need it. And so you have this hunch and you have this entrepreneurial ability of intuition and being able to use that intuition for yourself for the better, but also for the other person and also for the whole community. So this is very, very special. This is something that definitely makes you stand out. We have the King of Swords here. I don't know why, I'm getting energy about naysayers. There's like people around who are kind of like, don't do that, or that's not good enough, or, you're not smart to be doing that. But I feel a lot of you know in your heart and in your soul that what you're doing is what you're meant to be doing, and you know that you have to follow this path. Even though it's not an easy path, it's actually a pretty hard path that you've chosen for yourself from a soul contract level. But I feel like you're doing the right thing, and you're doing the thing that is going to make you proud at the end of the day. So keep that in mind. What I want you to know is that in the end, you're going to be victorious. I'm not trying to say it where it sounds very competitive or militant, but I feel like at the end of the day, you're going to prove people wrong. Any people who have doubted you, anyone who has said, that wasn't the right thing to do, you're going to prove them wrong, and then they're going to wish that they were on your side. If you would like to, you could definitely have a career in politics. I feel that for many of you, you won't want that because I think you'll think it's a little bit too constricting or a little bit too much of the norm, but you could have a career as an orator, as a president, as a government official, something like that, because you have the energy of helping other people rise and helping other people succeed. And you also have a little bit of a competitive edge. It's not so strong where it's off-putting, but it's strong enough where I get the sense that you are a very strong-minded person. There is some stubbornness there. There is this energy of, I'm committed to what I'm doing and I'm not going to back down just because random people tell me that it's not good enough. And so I applaud that. I admire that. I feel like people admire you for this because you have a very strong willpower. So that is one of your unique gifts that really makes you stand out. I'm kind of wondering with the Three of Cups here whether you have recently gotten something that felt successful, kind of like a sign that you're on the right path. I think some of you are very tuned into spirituality and are tuned into your angels, sending you signs and sending you messages. And I feel like some of you have gotten this sign already. So definitely if there's been something where you just felt like, oh yes, like that was a really strong affirmation, I feel like that's a beautiful symbol, and this is my message to you, is that was sent to you for a reason. And if you haven't gotten it yet, I don't think it's far away. I think it's maybe like 2 months away. And for some of you, this is just others expressing interest in what you're doing, especially people who are more senior to you or people who are kind of like investors or mentors. I feel like people are going to express interest and people are going to respect you and love you for what you bring to the world. There's an energy of change associated with you, and so something else that I want to say is you have your mind and your eyes set on change. You know that there's issues with our world, you know that there's things that are less than optimal, and you want to change things for the better, and you want to help contribute to humanity. And I think this is a really cool thing. All right, so I just pulled some cards with the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. So we have the Buffalo, Fox, Nightingale, and Frog. Normally I only pull 3, but these 2 were kind of together. So first things first, Frog is all about cleansing. This is about the kind of energy where after it rains, it's very restorative. Things kind of start off from scratch again in a very good way. So this is a message to make sure that you're doing that for yourself. Make sure you're cleansing yourself spiritually, emotionally, even financially. Make sure that you are putting your money where you want to put it, where you want to invest, where you can feel proud of. But also just take that time for yourself and know that sometimes the path ahead is not super clear, especially with what you're doing, and it's okay. It's okay to take a step back and it's okay to take a pause just trust yourself that you're going to get back into that process again. When we see the nightingale here, the nightingale is about speaking your inner truth, speaking your inner voice. And I really do see you as a pioneer in your field or your industry. And I feel many of you are even trying to change your industry. You, as the nightingale, would be the one who brings wisdom to those around you and brings more love and light. And so I feel like it's very important to keep spreading your mission and to keep speaking out about your commitment to innovation, to equality, to helping people around you. I feel like you're really good at this. You are a pioneer. This is something I want you to walk away with. You are a pioneer, and you are the type of person who's going to bring other people along with you. So we have the buffalo and the fox here. These are kind of similar because the buffalo is a very grounded creature. It's also on a spiritual journey. And then we have the fox here, who is a life partner. It's someone who's loyal. It's someone who teaches others. And so you are basically both of these together. You are a wise teacher. You're someone who's sharing your commitment. As you can see, even up close, the fox is not the type of creature who needs to always be around a ton of people. Sometimes the fox withdraws. Sometimes the fox likes to burrow away in its little den and only hang out by itself or with its very close family. And I feel like you do this too, and you might go into phases where you just kind of have these like creative bursts or spurts where you kind of just need to be away, need to lock yourself away in a room and innovate or iterate on something. But ultimately, when you come back out of that, you are a very strong teacher and a warrior, and other people look up to you. Some of you have past lives as warriors, by the way, which is why I said that word. So we have the buffalo, and the buffalo is one of my favorite cards because it's a very strong card. Like you can see here, there's lightning in the back, and the buffalo is standing tall. When you think about a buffalo is always strong. A buffalo is always calm amidst the background, which can be a little bit scary and a little bit challenging. I feel intuitively that your soul contract is a hard one. I don't think it's super easy. I think there are people who will try and doubt you. There are people who will try and put you on a different path than what you feel called to. But I feel like you are meant to go on your unique path. That's what you're doing. And through that, you are on a spiritual journey. I also really like that this card is about someone who's practical and spiritual because, like I said, you're not sugarcoating anything. You're seeing reality for what it is. You're seeing humanity for its greatness, but also for its flaws. And part of your soul contract is to work on that and to help people generally rise up together. And I feel like because your agenda is a good one, you will be very successful. You will make money. You will have those press releases I was talking about. Your family or whoever is currently kind of doubting you is going to come around in the future and is going to be ready and willing to help you and to get behind you. So I feel very positive about this. And what I want to say is just keep going. You know, you're on the right path. Keep going. Don't give up. So those are all of the messages that I got for you today, and I hope that it resonated with you. If it did, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You can share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.